Hi and welcome to DIY Ideas. Today I'm going to show you how you can pimp up your denim jacket. So if you want to see what you can do and how, stay tuned. So I'll be using an old jeans jacket that I already have at home for this project. And I'm going to do all of my ideas on the same one. So you may do just one or the other, but don't be surprised if I do all of them on just one jacket because that's the only one I have. So first I'm going to show you how you can make a destroyed look. So it's really easy and it looks really cool, and I've seen it in stores time and time again where it's kind of rough on some spots and then a little bit ripped on the other. So yeah, I'm going to show you how you can do that. So I'm going to turn this around and you're going to see here 3 little ripped places. So you can do that if you'd like to, or you can just start working on it from the inside. And if you don't have any rips, then you can take your chalk and just put a mark where you want them. Then take your fabric scissors and just cut it out. So you see here I have 3. They're not too big, but you can make them bigger if you'd like to, depending on how big you want your hole to be. So yeah, now I'm gonna basically just make them fray a little bit so that they look nicer. And you see how I did different distances from each other, so from the one line and the other. So now I'm gonna take regular tweezers and just rough it out a little bit. So this is what it should look like. So now all that we have left are the horizontal threads, and the vertical ones I took out. And yeah, this is what we have for now. So you can pull it out even more or go to the side if you don't want it to be as squared as it is in my case. So here on top I decided to do it just a little bit just so I can show you what effects you can have. So you can just basically pull on anything and you will see what the effect is. In this case, just make sure you don't pull too much on the horizontal ones because you don't want the threads to go all the way to the top of the jacket. But apart from that, you can do anything you like pretty much. Or you can even use an unstitcher if you prefer that. So there are many different ways. As long as you pull on the threads, you're going to get the effect. So now here's another idea what you can do with an unstitcher. So it's basically just ripping the fabric directly without doing any marks or going in with the scissors. So this way you're even faster and you can get smaller holes and bigger holes depending on how much you pull on it. And with these 2 cool tricks, you can get a really cool destroyed look on your jeans jacket. My other idea are these little patches that we can basically iron onto any fabric. I really like these because you can choose any one you like depending on what you can find, but there's usually a really big selection in any store that has them. So the cool thing is mostly you can just iron over it and have it done really quickly. Sometimes it's not like that and you can just stitch it on the edges onto your fabric, so even then it's not too big of a deal. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how you can stitch them on here, because if you glue them on, it's really easy. You just take an iron and you just go over them a couple of times until you're sure that they've stuck on. In that case, I'm just gonna tell you a little trick. You should have something in between your iron and your patch. So I like to take wax fabric for regular cooking and baking. So just take that and then go over your patch with your iron. So about a minute I think is enough. So I'm gonna do both patches and then I'm gonna show you how you can do the extra stitches as well. After we're done here, we're going to repeat the same process on the other side, and if you see that your patch is still not sticking, then just repeat these 2 steps another time. So here it is now, so you can see the inside and the outside. This is sticking on here, and this means that we're pretty much done. As I said, you can do an extra stitch on the outside, super easy, but in this case I don't think it's needed. So the next idea is how you can do little patterns on your pockets. You can actually do them pretty much anywhere, but I'm going to use the pocket. So you're going to need an embroidery needle and then of course some thread for it. In my case, I have multiple colors. You can do just 1 or more, and in my case they also have 6 little threads inside, so I can even pull them apart if I need it to be thinner. And I have here, just in case, a pen that you can mark your fabric on and then it washes out later. So I'm going to show you how to make a little flower. So it's going to be super easy. You can do more complicated things or even less complicated things if you like, but I'm going to show you a flower since it's pretty easy to do and pretty fast as well. So here I have my embroidery needle and I'm going to show you how I did it. So this is not going to be difficult, but in comparison to the other 2 ideas, it's going to take a little bit more time. So you see here how I drew 2 circles onto the fabric itself. So now I'm going to go with a stitch in a zigzag motion, and I'm just going to fill at first the little circle and then later the big one. And I'm starting from the inside. Also, just a tip, I don't have all 6 threads here, so I use just 4 so that it's thin enough to go through and look nice. So now we're going in again and we're pulling on here, and then from the inside again as close to it as possible, but still not at the same spot, and then you just keep going like that. So the goal is to have the lines one next to another and as parallel as possible. So you can see what I have now. Of course, if you want to fill it all up, you can do that. I think I like it the way it is now, but you can definitely do more if you prefer, or leave it a little bit lighter like I did. So yeah, this is our inside circle that we have. So here is my circle again. It's a little bit more oval than I would like to, but we're gonna fix that with our petals. So here I have another color. You can see here a lovely purplish pinkish shade. So we're gonna start the same way from the inside, and I'm gonna start as close to my yellow circle as possible. Now we're gonna go right next to the yellow again, and we're gonna go then outside the other end like this. And then we're gonna pull, but don't pull it all the way because we need this little loop, and we're just gonna go through that, and this is how we're gonna get a little loop shape. And now we're gonna put another spot on top of this little loop just to make sure that it stays in place. And that way you secured your first little petal. And you can see my flower all finished now. So you see here the petals and the yellow middle. And I decided to leave it a little bit lighter this time, but of course you could go once through each petal and then kind of have it filled out and not with this little hole where you can see the jeans through it. So yeah, I had some leftover yarn, so I decided to do little star-like bits on the side. And then on the inside, you can see how I have a little bit of the thread left over. So what I did then is basically did a little knot, and that's all that I needed. You can even stitch it up once again with a regular sewing needle if you'd like, but I think a knot works well and keeps everything in place. So yeah, you can see the easy pattern that I did here. You can do more complicated things with many different colors depending on your experience and how brave you are, but I do recommend you try it out because it's a really fun thing to do and you get a really awesome result. And a cool trick to know is some sewing machines actually have a lot of patterns on them. So I'm going to show you what mine has. So you can see here what I have on my sewing machine, and it's a lot. So apart from the regular straight stitch, I have all kinds of zigzag stitches and everything in between. So yeah, you see here mine has from 1 all the way to 9, so that would be the standard. And I even have more with this hashtag here. And then I have more stitches, so I'm going to show you on a piece of paper that I got with the machine. So you see here all the different kinds of stitches that we have. So yeah, I'm going to show you the number 65 that you see on here. I think it's going to be really exciting to do something like that. But if your sewing machine does have something like this, it's definitely something that you want to use. So the cool thing about this is that the sewing machine basically does all the work for you and you still get great results, and it's a lot faster than if you did it by hand. So definitely use this if you have it on your sewing machine. So this is what I have after I've tried the stitch out, and I definitely have to admit that it's a little bit more difficult than I thought, just because we have to move the needle basically, or the fabric under the needle at the same rate the entire time so that it's the same thickness everywhere, and it's not as easy as it seems, so it does need some practice, but I still think it looks wonderful here, and I think it matches my little flower here as well. So you can do this multiple ideas with one another. And I'm going to show you how you can do pearls on your jacket. So I have here a regular sewing needle, a thread with a knot on the end so that nothing slips off, and I have here little pearls. So you can use bigger ones or smaller ones, that's completely up to you depending on the size that you have and the size that you would like. And yeah, we're just going to sew them on here. So I'm again going to use my pocket section, and I'm going to go from the inside, and then I'm going to go through one pearl, and I'm going to go right next to where I went through and pull it back. And then you can repeat that one more time or even a couple of times just to secure the pearl and make sure that it's going to stay on there and not go anywhere. And then you can put your pearls pretty much one next to each other or further apart, so you can do them separately, or you can do them one next to another and then you can just do it with one stitch. So this is what my pearl decoration looks like. So I decided to make kind of a flower shape, but of course you can do anything else. You can do ovals or lines, or you can just put them on randomly, whatever you prefer. So you have all the freedom in the world here when it comes to pearls. Then you may notice here that I did a little bit of a lace here. So I basically had this little piece left over, and then I just did a stitch on here, folded it a little bit, and continued with the stitch and followed basically how the fabric goes. So you see here, it looks pretty romantic. I think it looks lovely, and if it's something for you, you can try it out. It's super easy. So here are all of my ideas, and I hope you guys like these. Feel free to let me know which ones you like the best. I think I still love the patches the best. But yeah, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to shoot it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel, and if you click on the notification bell, you'll get notified every time I post something new. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye!